So
I know it's happened during sauerkraut days before. So maybe that's why they didn't have.
I was sore for 3 days after playing pickleball. I had no idea. Matt
Yes.
made us play, well, he didn't make us play, but we played pickleball. By the way, he doesn't play fair. It was a new, like, never played. He's sitting there. I don't even
I don't know
know.
what you're talking about.
I do.
I play fair.
I was so
I played in my ability.
I was so
I thought you played fair. We won.
Right, Chris?
I wanted to do city pickleball.
Every now and then.
He's really good at organizing tournaments. He organizes our neighborhood party,
Yeah. I want to come. That would be fun, actually.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. They chose the team.
Jesse played with
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Mount Vernon City Council. I'll call the meeting officially to order. And the first item on the agenda is to see if there are any agenda additions or approve the agenda. And here, other than untabling an item later on in the agenda, we're good to go here, Chris?
Move approval of the agenda as presented.
Thanks, Paul. Mark. Move the second to approve the agenda as presented. Paul, Mark, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next comes to the communications part of the agenda. If you wish to address the city council on subjects pertaining to tonight's meeting agenda, just wait before it comes up. Otherwise, it's open to public comment. Anybody is here to speak to public comment now at this point? Anybody online?
No.
Okay. Judith, have anything on the agenda you want to talk about, or anything to talk about? Okay, now let's move on to consent agenda here. One item, approval of city council minutes at the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I'll take Craig and Scott here. Move the second to approve the consent agenda. We're ready to vote on that. All in favor of that motion, please say aye. And opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to resolutions for approval. We have resolution 83-2026A, approving the ballot language for the City of Mount Vernon Emergency Medical Services District Special Levy on September 1st, 2026.
This is the language that is going to each of the entities, so if you do have questions or would like language changes, you can do that now, otherwise we're trying to keep it fairly consistent.
I have a question. This levy will just happen once a year, right?
So this levy, similar to the fire department capital equipment, is on your tax bill. So if you look at your tax bill, it'll just show what you owe, and then it's split, obviously, in the two payments. But
Right, but so the levy takes place, but it's only levied once a year.
yeah. I mean, it's levied just like your 810 and everything. Like you get one tax bill, you can split it up into two payments or whatever, but it only gets charged that one time.
I just wondered as I read through it, in case people aren't aware, if they're wondering, is this going to happen every month? I don't know if that's necessary, but I just wondered as I read it, if someone will ask, how often does this happen?
I would say that it didn't affect the fire department capital levy, and it's similar language. I will never sit here and say that more words is not a bad thing, but when they create the ballots and things like that, I think they're just trying to get it.
Sure, I understand that. when we lived in Anchorage, Alaska, we had levies happening all the time for all different sorts of things. And if I remember right, it seems like they said in there once a year, because some happen more frequently. So, anyhow, I was just trying to read it as a voter might read it. And then I was also curious about why does it say initial tax of 0.677 cents per 1,000 with a maximum levy of $1 per 1,000? Why the difference there?
Because the state gives you the ability to fluctuate.
Okay.
So, another example would be franchise fees. Can be anywhere from 1 to 5%. So you don't have to say it, but it does give you options to increase it in the future.
So here we're promising it would never go over $1 per 1,000.
Correct, and it's always going to be between that 0.667 and $1.
Okay.
And then assuming this levy passes in September, that just is in perpetuity until something removes it. Is that?
Yeah, until the state decides.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I mean, it would, but there would have to be some action. It
Correct.
wouldn't, there's no clock in here or
As
anything.
opposed to the price, the equipment.
No, this isn't for a set period.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
You're correct, so lawful option sales tax has a, typically has a sunset of how many years
20
you're
years.
on, whatever. So.
My question is regarding the trustees. Expand on that a little bit. This is managing the money?
Yeah, so what we're actually creating is basically a whole other level of government. So the trustees will be the ones overseeing the tax levy. They're the ones who will set the levy every year based off of need for the service, however that changes. And so after the vote occurs, that's when we look at how are the districts going to basically fund and operate EMS. They have to use essentially, with the way the levy is, or the ballot is written, they have to essentially continue with the core of the Lisbon Mount Vernon ambulance. However, if restructuring needs to occur to better manage, that is an option that the trustees and our board can work through. But the trustees will kind of have oversight on how that's operated and tied to the tax funding.
If nobody is written in, or fewer than 3 people are written in, then they'll be appointed.
Yes, yep.
And that's a volunteer position as well.
Currently, you provide us with an annual report, number of volunteers, where the money went, how it came in, all of that kind of stuff. Are there provisions, obviously not within this language, but as this gets created, that would provide for something like that to us and Lisbon and
I think that would be something that definitely could be put in bylaws for an organization. It makes sense as you guys are a consumer of EMS. So, thank you.
So going back to the trustees, with this ballot, it'll, just lack of a better word, it'll just be a free-for-all of who gets elected this time around. No one's campaigning?
We are looking for interested parties and have a handful. We will not endorse any candidates, but if community members voice that they are interested, we've talked with a couple of other services that have gone through this process, and they put out a blanket statement basically saying these are community members who have voiced interest in serving as a trustee. We'll put the disclaimer that we do not endorse any specific candidate, but if you are looking for names, these are people who have spoke out to us.
And that'll appear on the ballot then?
Their names will not, so they will still have to write them in, but they'll, we're planning on doing a pretty big
Build up.
public campaign, yeah. Now that we have a date.
And then what are restrictions, if any, on trustees? I mean, could they be a city employee or?
I don't believe there's nothing that I have seen unless there's other code that talks about conflict of interest.
Or to serve on other boards and stuff?
Just me.
Okay.
No, outside of myself and Lori, because of road ethics, mostly we're in the office.
Are there, and just along those same lines, I know, like our Parks and Rec, you have to live in the city. Like so I assume you have to be a resident.
Yes, you'll have to live within the district that you're a trustee. So this is actually 3 to 4 separate districts.
Yeah.
So you will just have to, so if you want to be on the City of Mount Vernon EMS district as a trustee, you will have to live within the City of Mount Vernon.
So Mount Vernon's voting on this, and Lisbon's voting on it, and Martello?
So the greater Lynn County
Okay.
area that we serve, so that would be Lynn, Bertram, and Franklin townships in Lynn County, and then Cedar Township, or a portion of Cedar Township in Johnson County.
So will their ballot then say, instead of City of Mount Vernon, will it say City of Lisbon EMS, or City of
Yep.
Bertram?
And then the rural ballot language is, so the district that was created is the Lisbon Mount Vernon area. Lisbon Mount Vernon area benefited EMS district, which is a mouthful, so.
So ideally, you'd love representation all around, not everybody from Mount Vernon.
Right, so it'll have to be, yep, because of how the trustees are structured. So we'll have 3 from Mount Vernon, 3 from Lisbon for sure, and then kind of a mix in the rural district, 3 from kind of those townships.
Okay.
So 9 total.
No, yeah, that's what we're hoping for. There could be as many as 12, depending on what the Department of Management rules with the rural district, so.
Planning on monthly meetings for the trustees, or?
So that's a big question. So let's get through September 1st.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, get information,
Yeah.
To people we may be.
Yeah. The first couple of years will likely be a big haul. After that, it'll likely spin down quite a bit. So.
Well, whatever the meeting schedule is will mean less for you than you have
Well,
attending the class.
Yeah, probably over the last year.
Yeah.
So
in general, this provides a consistency of funding. So the ambulance service obviously captures revenue from the service they provide. However, once the levy is established, then our budget number would be based upon what the estimate is. Based upon what the fire department is, I want to say it's like 100, for the city of Mount Vernon, it would generate about 120,000, something like that. That would be under the control of the board of trustees, likely monthly. Most board of trustees, because there's an auditing factor to it, given the fact that they're receiving city funds, city tax dollars. So I would say most likely monthly. You see, this is new, obviously, for EMS. This has been fairly normal for a lot of communities in Iowa for water. They'll have a separate water board of trustees. The difference being, I think, in that enabling language, the council actually appoints the board of trustees. This is different. I guarantee there will be some tweaking that will be done by the state at some point, but consistency of running an operation from purchasing equipment, so on and so forth. We now have an established budget, and it's going to likely increase no more than 2% every year. So Jake can go ahead and at this point and manage his department more consistently like the city does.
Is the ballot language been approved by the other entities yet, or are you still in the process?
it was by Lisbon, and it has been by Johnson County. Lynn County has not, but they have the same ballot language with the modifications that are required for their district. So.
John, table.
I would move approval of Resolution 8-3-2026A, approving ballot language for the City of Mount Vernon EMS District Special Levy of September 1, 2026.
Second. This is Sharif, Scott Sharif. Move second to move forward.
By the way, it says 8-3 on the actual language.
8-3 is fine. I just blame Lori for being on vacation, Josh, you didn't review mine.
I'm literally over here circling the reports.
No worries,
You put
no worries.
8-6.
I did across the board, so I don't know why I do that, but
With that change, are we ready to accept this ballot language with Marcia's call?
Ruler?
Yes.
Hanson Player?
Yes.
Hinkle?
Yes.
Andreessen?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes,
Resolution passes, and good luck, and keep it moving forward.
thank you.
Hopefully it's a slam dunk with the supervisors. The next three items are somewhat similar, establishing depositories of public funds with Hills Bank, first of all. Any comments to add?
no, this is
Board of Play?
identifying to the public where we deposit our funds.
I would move approval of 8-3-2026B, establishing depositories of public funds with Hills Bank and Trust.
Okay, Mark, moved and seconded to.
I would make two.
Right?
You said 3, but it should be. Is
It's 8-3.
It's 8.
Oh, it's,
It
okay,
is.
so wrong in
Sorry, I
here.
read off.
No,
No.
you did actually right.
Right.
I apologize.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
My reports are,
Your reports were wrong, the agenda, I apologize for that.
No, here you did.
I would just make one quick comment. The next three are do more than just establish these where we do our banking, but from a regulatory standpoint, these also establish who can sign for those checks. And it's an important, just check and balance in some of the stuff we do. So anyway, that's all.
Good point there. Got a resolution moved and seconded. We're ready to vote on that. Marcia, let's hear
Andreessen?
yours.
Yes.
Ruler?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Hanson Player?
Yes.
Hinkle?
Yes.
The resolution passes. Moving on to the next one for public funds, the Bridge Community Bank.
I move to approve resolution number 8-3-2026C, establishing depositories for public funds for Bridge Community Bank.
Thank you, Mark.
Second.
And Paul. Moved and seconded to move forward. Same principle here with Bridge Community Bank. And Marcia, I think you're ready.
Angels?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
Ruler?
Yes.
Hanson Player?
Yes.
Andreessen?
Yes.
And that resolution passes. Moving on to the Mount Vernon Bank and Trust, 8-3-2026D.
So moved.
Scott and
Second.
Mark. Moved and seconded to move forward to the next resolution. We're ready to vote on that one. Marcia, it is yours.
Rose?
Yes.
Hinkle?
Yes.
Hanson Player?
Yes.
Andreessen?
Yes.
Ruler?
Yes.
That fourth resolution passes. Now to resolution 8-3-2026E, approving the disposal of municipal property.
this is just a squad that we're getting rid of, and instead of doing a trade-in or anything like that, the ambulance department would like this vehicle, so we just transfer to,
And we've done this
we've done
at
this
least
one
a
other
couple
time
times.
for,
Yeah. Okay.
for them.
Okay.
We have one other squad that will come offline, but it's the K-9 that will come offline, but we're gonna keep it in case we have any incidences with the new K-9, because we don't really have a backup currently.
Can you consider internal accounting, putting on one set of books to the other set of books? I mean,
As far as the vehicles go?
yeah.
Yes.
That's on the asset
So
list.
there's a title transfer.
Okay.
That goes, and then from an asset standpoint, it picks up on their books and falls off on ours.
It's like a title change of the B&B.
But
Questions to staff?
I would move approval of resolution 8-6-2026E, disposal of property.
Second.
Paul Mark. Moving seconded to move forward with 8-3-2026E. And we're ready to vote on that. Marcia?
Ruler?
Yes.
Hanson Player?
Yes.
Hinkle?
Yes.
Andreessen?
Yes.
Rose?
Yes.
That resolution passes. Moving on to old business. First of all, we need to start with the tabling process. Untabling, I guess.
Oh, this one.
I'd like to move it on table.
I'll second.
The application number 5. It says-
Pay application.
Yeah, with mine.
Mark and Scott on that. And we're voting, first of all, on the untabling here. All in favor of approving the untabling of this item, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, motion carries. Now we can begin the discussion on this process.
pay applications in the amount of $13,634.90. This is the last pay application before the retainage. We did receive the engineer's letter to release project, and that will be on your next agenda.
So we get a little bit of a reprieve before we start again?
Please.
I don't know, did we get a reprieve?
He's like, please.
I would move to approve pay application number 5 with Modern Concrete in the amount of $13,634.90.
Second. Very involved, I think. Move the second to vote the application number 5. Should be a ceremony for this. Official process. This is a voice vote. If there's no questions or comments about this, we're ready to vote on this item. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next motion for approval, claims list. I'll send out this afternoon. Questions, anything to pull off, concerns?
I move approval of the claims list as presented.
Paul, and Mark. Moved and seconded to approve the claims list. And we're ready to vote on that. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is discussion consideration of Vermeer Brush Chipper, Public Works.
So, this was part, Public Works, in this year's CIP had $150,000 earmarked actually for a new dump truck. We found a used unit in last fiscal year, and it was basically half of what we had expected. So, I did ask Public Works to identify remaining equipment that was of need and could be beneficial. The current chipper that we have is a smaller unit, and it does quite well in storms. The new chipper, being larger, can take larger items, can sit out at the yard, and hopefully will cut down on the need to spend $30,000 or $40,000 on a tub grinder every year.
On a what?
Tub grinder. So for all of the debris that we can't send through our current chipper, gets stockpiled, and then we bring in a large tub grinder that will turn it to compost for us. But we've been spending between 30 and 40, I think, annually to do that. If we can run more of those items through this chipper, and save our smaller chipper for being able to haul around town, it also gives us a backup so we don't have to worry about downtime, so.
The proposal made a lot of sense. I just have one question to Eldon. Obviously, you know these folks well, they're your hometown, all of that. Any kind of warranty? I know you put in here, because it's been rented out, it gets inspected every time it's returned and all that kind of stuff, but any kind of good faith?
I haven't, he hasn't said anything about warranty. I'll be honest, I hadn't asked him as far as warranty information. I don't think so because of the hours and the age. But again, we're looking at a third of what a new one costs.
Yeah. And since you know these folks well, if something happened in the first 12 months,
Yeah.
I'm sure that...
Yeah, they take care of us. I have complete confidence in this company and who we're dealing with.
Yeah, I don't think it's a deal breaker for me.
Vermeer is much like Caterpillar, John Deere. They usually stand behind their equipment. They don't need bad reputation out there. So this particular Vermeer has been quite good for the city as far as being fair.
Yeah, I think I stated in there, they are the #2 store for Vermeer as far as service and sales. It's nice to have them close.
2,000 hours, is that 10 years in your usage?
It's such a crapshoot, you know, depending on who has it, what they're doing with it. As far as a rental unit, not really, no. It's not a lot. The wear and tear items, you gotta replace anyway. The engine, is, I'm gonna forget what it is now. I wanna say it's a John Deere motor, I believe. And tractors with the same motors, they run 6,000-10,000, just depending on how they're used.
Questions or comments for Eldon?
I'm gonna have him look for my next vehicle.
I do apologize, I found 2 videos of us actually putting stuff through there that I forgot was on my phone. I was gonna add you. I can show them to you.
Motion?
With that, I would
You can bring it by my house.
There's a really big pile along 7th Street that's been there for like 6 weeks,
Yes.
between 6th and 7th.
And it's been out of compliance, so we tagged them and I haven't.
All in.
Paul, you're up.
I would move approval of purchase of the Vermeer brush chipper for the Public Works Department in the amount of $65,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded to move forward with the Vermeer brush chipper. And if there are no other questions, move forward with this by voting. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. Good luck handling the bigger volume there. Discussion, consideration of computer replacement purchase for the police department. Council action as needed.
This is 2 units for the PD, $4,429.80.
Questions about the Iowa Solution bid?
I would move approval of the purchase of the 2 new PCs for PD in the, from Iowa Solutions in the amount of $4,429.80.
Is there a second?
Second.
Scott Paul. Moved and seconded to move forward with the computer purchases for the police department. And if ready to vote on that, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and consideration of the B&K invoice on the Rachel Street improvements.
This is $14,991.72. Rachel Street is done. They did submit their sign off today, so that'll be on your next meeting.
That they were removing the signs, someone was, that were the detour signs to the medical center and all of that, so.
I've been stopped at the red light already.
That's pretty good. I did watch somebody forget to look up at the red light. So
That's gonna happen.
Actually, have there been any thoughts of putting any signs up on Highway 1, say new traffic pattern? Because, yeah, and I've been, you know, even though we saw that a light was going in, when it just all of a sudden started working. And so I'm sure, hopefully you're exercising all the grace, because I think there's a lot of us that are just driving right through it. So I just think it would be beneficial if we could have some kind of a blinking light to let us know new traffic pattern, you know, be aware to get our attention. Oh, that, because we saw it was up there and now all of a sudden it's working without any warning of what's going on.
And no, fairness, we should be able to see a light though.
I know, but we've gone,
It's probably a moot point because it's a DOT.
It's not
Right.
right.
oh,
Yeah.
sorry, forget about it.
Yeah. We get to pay for the light. We don't get to control anything else on the highway, so we get to pay for the lights.
Well, can we ask the DOT to come
I can
put up a flashing
send that,
light?
I can send that request to the DK. And,
Was y'all getting charged for it?
probably not.
We'll have to maintain them too.
Maybe scooters could have somebody standing out there with us. But then a second question I get asked by a lot of people, mainly my family, but other people, when is Quick Start opening?
So I have not received a definitive date, but last I heard was October.
Okay.
They're advertising for job postings
Oh, yeah.
and whatnot, so.
Yeah.
It's moving forward.
Like even the retail positions and everything too.
Quite excited.
There was a ribbon cutting this noon upstairs at the tattoo place, and I asked the question of Brenda, that committee of CDG, if they had heard anything recently about it. No, none of us had. Jesse hadn't, Brenda hadn't, I hadn't. So no in response to your question. made email contact with the district manager who's going to be supervising the store several times, but not enough to draw a reply back with the date, so, yeah. Over it is.
Well, with all that, I would move approval of invoice number 51387-9 from V&K for the completion of Rachel Street, amount to $14,991.72.
Second?
Thank you. It's moved and seconded to move forward with the Richard Street improvements. The result of this is going to help us identify what funding we have for the 10th Street project, which hopefully, as you alluded to in your letter, I'm holding you to that, to put it out to bid this fall and act on it this spring, hopefully. So keep that in mind. So, I think we're ready to vote on this DK invoice. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last motion for approval is discussion consideration of the DK invoice on the Highway 1 reconstruction. Council action is needed.
This is in the amount of $74,519.43. As I alluded to, the Iowa DOT will be here to make a presentation at your next council meeting. Tentatively, that's what they've scheduled, so if nothing changes, they should be here to present plans and walk through construction schedules, so on and so forth. My understanding is this project is set to be bid in December.
And you're not sure of the scope as far as it's both ends, or?
I don't know the timing schedule. I would be surprised if they had both the north and the south, because from third to third is not going to be touched, so the intersection. So I'll be surprised if they tackle both, because it generally would require two different crews from the same company, just given the equipment. So I would say this is probably a 2-year thing, but
And from a detour standpoint, you would think that maybe having one version of it going one or the other way open would be helpful. I don't know, maybe.
yeah, so the DOT has hard start and hard finish dates when they pour concrete, all of that. So my hope is that either the north or the south would be under construction. They would get that done in one season. And then I guess it's dependent on how much work they have to do. They're only going curb to curb, so they're not necessarily widening or doing anything crazy that would require additional. They require their sub base to sit for so long before they can pave over, so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll be anxious to hear as well.
And Scott, as far as the DOT, I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but I know the DOT cannot detour traffic onto a non-state highway. So they couldn't bring, they're to the north side, they couldn't bring people up and detour them through town, sort of thing. So they'd have to go probably to 13. To 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
38.
local individuals will detour the other way, but for what DOT puts out for trucks and things of that nature, it would be a much more expensive detour. To answer your question, yes, sidewalks, 88 sidewalks will be a part of this project.
Not necessarily widening, but the
Installation. Yeah, I would move approval of V&K invoice number 51361-24, the Highway 1 reconstruction project, in the amount of $74,519.43.
and Mark, moving and seconded for this DK invoice. And if we're ready to vote on that, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item for discussion, e-bike ordinances. This started up with the issue about.
Is this the appropriate time?
Yes. Let me preface this. This came up, a citizen came up to me, this was like 8 months ago, and at the time I put it off on the legislative session, talked to City Golding about it, see if the legislature would come up with something statewide. Obviously, nothing happened to that, so that's why we're having this discussion again. Is that what you were alluding to, Paul, when you said, yes, we need to do this?
Yeah.
No, okay. Now, public comment. Name and address, please. Yes.
My name is Cindy Roberts Cotton. I live at 902 Palisades Road, southeast, right across from our lovely LDC. And can I just kind of not talk into that? You can hear me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is the light on? Green?
No, it's red.
Just hit it.
Okay, there we go. When I noticed this was on the agenda, when I checked on my computer, I thought, hey Cindy, I think you better show up on this one. Because I've had a couple of experiences with this. I'm not an e-bike owner. I think they're really cool. But on more than one occasion, I'm an avid walker in my neighborhood and also with the various trails that we have, which I usually refer to as walking trails, though I do understand that they're available for bikes and such. But on more than one occasion, partly due to the very quiet nature of e-bikes and also amazing speed that at times I was just surprised that, oh, they're allowed to go that fast in what is considered, in my mind, more of a public walking area. Fortunately, there was, the last time that I remember, and I was on a trail, and it just came out of the blue. I mean, I typically don't have earbuds in. I mean, I'm aware of what's around me. And it came so fast, and I barely knew that he was behind me. There was no accident, but had I stepped, to the right just a little bit, or if I had just stumbled over something, it could have been a serious accident. And after he had passed, I thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of common courtesy that maybe they would ring a bell or something? I don't know what that is. I'm not a biker myself, so I don't know. But I felt like yelling at him, and I thought, well, that was no point because he was already down the road, so why bother? So I just bring that example up. I think e-bikes are really cool. They're really popular. I would like to point out the 2 times that I had an experience like this, I'm not pointing to teenagers. Both times, these were adult males that should have known better, that should have been thinking, oh, there's that woman up there, looks like she's got gray hair, maybe I should honk my horn. But it concerned me, and it did make me wonder, aren't there some rules about that out there? If you're walking on a public sidewalk, if you're on a trail, how much guidance do e-bike owners maybe need so they're being safe with pedestrians? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cindy.
I'm an e-bike, an avid e-bike rider, owner, have been for several years, and to your point, the biking community in general, not just e-bikes, but there's on the trails, there are not laws or ordinances guiding us, so there's a sort of pattern that we use, that we learn, that's common among the community. And as we see newer riders of both normal bikes, e-bikes, the scooters are becoming very popular on the trails. Walkers with earbuds can be a problem, because even when the biker is doing everything they can, if I were out walking with my earbuds in, I may not hear a semi coming because of the way I like my music. But so typically, as a rider comes from the rear, the rider is expected to announce their approach in some way. Generally, because we pass on the left side, because the rider's riding on the right side, we would say, on your left, loud enough, in a far enough distance to let the walker or the biker know. Some people do use bells, the old bicycle bells. Those aren't as common. It's much easier just to announce yourself in a friendly manner, and that generally works. I also just recently had the opportunity to do 8 days in Europe riding bikes, which included both trails and city streets, and I will tell you that the bike culture in Europe is much better than the bike culture in the US. Because here we also have motorists who have no real concern. They don't think the bicyclists have equal opportunity to the spaces, but by law we do, and those laws have been in place for years. So when I saw this on the agenda, I was extremely pleased because currently there are young people that are riding these with reckless abandon. I probably would have been one of those at 12, 13 years old, but we can educate. And so part of this is also going to need to be educated. Ironically, I was just talking to one of the Park and Rec Board members last week that perhaps it's time to go back to our trails plan and look at, okay, which streets were designated to be trails, and is it time to look at painting bike lanes? And on the Lisbon Road, as you ride into Lisbon, there's a sign, share the road with a bicycle. So I think this is a very timely discussion. I'd also like to say that after reading through the sample, thank you, Chris, for this, because I was struggling with what is out there, and it's nice to see one. What a lot of people don't realize is there are different levels of e-bikes, and I think it's important that we understand those. A level 1 e-bike is a bike that you can turn on, the power's on, but it doesn't have any power to the pedals unless you click a button to make it say, okay, I want extra power. It's called pedal assist. So without that, you're just riding a regular bike. With pedal assist, it allows you to pedal, helps old people like me ride a bike, which maybe we couldn't do as often or as long as we had wanted to. The restriction on a level 1 bike, which is the pedal assist, or one with a throttle, so it does pedal assist, or you can use a throttle. I like the throttle in the cases where I'm trying to cross one of the streets in Marion and make sure I get out of the way as quickly as possible. But a level 1 bike is maximum 20 miles per hour with a throttle. Now, if you're going down a hill, not using your throttle, obviously you can get faster than that, but that would be a level 1. A level 2, the power can take you up to 28 miles per hour. A level 3, in my view, becomes an electric motorcycle and can be powered over 28 miles per hour. And it's only limited by the size of motor, power, etc. that goes into that. One of the things as I looked at the sample ordinance is that the ordinance doesn't discuss the different levels at all, and I think that's an important thing, because as a rider out on the trail, many people have the e-bikes because they want to extend their ability to ride. They may have knee problems, issues like that, where they couldn't ride a bicycle without the pedal assist. And then you have those people that have it because it's fast, and they don't have to pedal. And those are the people that we need to, work with.
Well, my experience is just FYI, were 2 fast dudes, so just, that was my experience. So.
Yep. So that's just from a user's experience as well as an observer. 2nd Avenue North tends to be a very interesting place. afternoons, as kids are coming and going from the pool.
I know this has been a topic of discussion at the Public Works Department. As you guys all know, we're around town all over the place. More specifically, the younger generation. I guess I'll start with, we've all witnessed younger kids on these e-scooters or e-bikes. They come to an intersection, they just blow through the stop sign. They're hard to see, and they're young kids. More importantly, we found them running around on the ball diamonds quite a bit, which is a real pain in the butt for us. But,
And multiple riders
yes.
on scooters, on bikes. Since this is just discussion, keep it very brief. I am for moving forward and having an ordinance written up that would be specific to Mount Vernon. The Bellevue example is great. I love the class that you have to take in here if you're under the age of 14 with the learner's permit and so on. Enforcement will be a drag. I mean, I understand that, and sometimes it's symbolic enforcement, but having an ordinance is a start for this. Who would do this, by the way, Chris? Would it be our new attorney that would write this up? Or would
So typically, we will look at various ordinances that we feel complement, so we'll start with a base, and then we'll have the attorney review.
I know Marion's just been going through the
Yeah, it's been a hot topic for the very reason that Eldon had brought forward. Obviously, there's some off-roading that occurs with these. As far as it relates to bike trails, we have to be careful on any ordinance that would restrict these on those. There's Supreme Court cases as it relates to accessibility and use of the trail system. So that goes back to motorized wheelchairs and all of that. So yeah, we would likely turn this one over to the attorney just because there have been court cases, all of this. One of the challenges that we have, or one of the things that I like with the Bellevue ordinance is that they do restrict in certain sections of the community and certain streets. So the challenge with probably 80% or 90% of Mount Vernon roads is that you're too narrow to do a dedicated bike lane. They typically come with no parking on one side or the other. So the reality is I think looking at potentially restricting certain streets or certain sections of the community might be a better complement. But really, this being added to a discussion item was just this. Before we engage and spend money with the attorney, I wanted to make sure that there was support from the city council to at least consider and potentially go through the process.
Yes. Similar to a couple of statements, it was apropos that this came up because early last week, Monday, Tuesday, whatever it was, I'm leaving to go to work at 9:30 in the morning, and I'm on Mount Vernon Road, and there's a kid who's maybe 8, I don't know, in front of us on an e-bike, and there's 6 or 8 of us. I mean, there was a virtual traffic jam on Main Street, and he's right in the middle of the road, just turning up 10 as we get past the P&P there, and he was this high off the ground, and at least he had a helmet on, and he was doing some things right, but it just getting some control over who's riding, where they're riding, how they're equipped, what their visibility is like, and the education in the helmets and the flag. It isn't just you can ride here or there. There's other parts of this that I really appreciate.
Or are we aiming to are we thinking about along the lines of the same streets that are off limits to golf carts? Expanding on that?
I mean, honestly, you could for ease, but that will ultimately be up to you. We will give you a base with recommendations, and then the council can decide from there if they want to expand or contract from those recommendations.
And certainly before it comes to us, however long it takes to have everyone over this side of the table weigh in.
Absolutely.
On streets, on education, on what is forbidden. Yeah, for enforcement as well is certainly welcome.
That's what I was just trying to get as much information in tonight as I could, just not knowing the time frame, but I did see that in here, yeah, so whatever it is, but
So it will be a couple months before the attorney probably gets back to us, and then there will be a review. So even if we start today, the adoption process will likely happen at the very end of this year or the beginning of the year.
So,
Yeah.
but ideally, we've got something in place as we head into spring next year, so people have time to
There's time to
do what needs doing and get it in
educate,
place.
and the LBC, you guys can, or we can offer classes because we have the LBC. So we can offer classes right there.
I think considerations, I didn't see anything in the one from Belleville about
I'm not.
making sounds or calling out. And then I like what Scott just mentioned about having a flag, especially for young, when we're getting so many cars that are so high profile, you can't see somebody down low. I was working in Independence today, and I had 2 young boys that were on e-scooters, and they had looked both ways. They were just crossing this really busy street, not in a crosswalk, and they looked both ways, but they didn't look to see a car was coming towards me, and we easily could have collided into each other, because they were just full on going straight, like, oh, no one's coming this way, and they just came at me. And then I come home and start reading the notes, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we're discussing this, because I almost hit 2 young boys today. But they didn't even think to look ahead of them. They were only concerned about the cars coming on either side. So I think it's really great that we get out ahead of this before we start having some tragedies.
Yeah, this has definitely been a hot topic around the state, as has one other, and I will not even mention it.
It's not a matter of if, it's just when.
But we should start.
Just watching these kids blow through stop signs with no helmets, I saw last night.
With the potential opening of Cliffside in the fall, this could be probably like, it's gonna be a hot spot.
You are correct.
So I do want to, as a user, the cell phone provision, many people use their cell phone on there to track or to play their music and that type of thing. So I think that has to be somewhat considered as well.
I think it's got to be just like your vehicles,
Yeah.
like a one-touch type thing. Can't be in your hands.
Hands-off type of approach. I think that makes complete sense.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this forward, and I'm happy to provide any guidance I can as a user, and I have several friends that I'm sure would be happy to as well.
Good discussion. I think we'll keep moving forward on it and have something to present in a couple months, or probably. Anything else on the topic? We're going to move to reports. Mayor's report. 3 things to mention. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Lynn County Conservation. They're doing REAP grants tomorrow. We're not in the hopper for a REAP grant, but I want to be at the table because hopefully next year we will be in the hopper for our mid-sized community for trails, improvements. But I just want to be at the table, let them know that we're still interested in developing once we get property to Irish Lane, continue the trail there. So that's one thing tomorrow. Then Wednesday, hopefully you're still okay with this meeting at Ely with Juliet Abdul, who's the head of the Economic Alliance with City of Cedar Rapids Corridor. And she's actually meeting with perimeter mayors of the Cedar Rapids area. What does economic development look like for us versus Cedar Rapids and Hiawatha and so on. So hopefully we can come for that meeting on Wednesday night, 5 o'clock at Ely. And the third thing is the next meeting, I want to kind of heads up right now, at this point, the next meeting, our regular meeting with Iowa DOT is going to be hopefully here to talk to or see if there are any comments from the 100 homeowners who are bordering Highway 1 through town for this DOT project that doing it for the next couple of summers. So hopefully they'll be here to speak to that. And also next week is, at the next meeting is Lynn County Public Health wants to do a presentation on opioids and what our status is as far as the health department dealing with health in that area. And the third thing is Southeast Lynn, Nicole McAlexander is going to be on the agenda to talk a little bit about what she's been doing and how we've been doing, and do we want to continue the same level of support? Obviously, a needy an organization that has high needs, it's a very valuable organization. Can we continue to contribute them at the same level that we have? Whether we want to or can, that's the issue here at this point. So we're having those tough conversations. So I think it might be a heavy discussion agenda for next week. Those are my 3 things.
I have a question about the meeting, or next meeting, when we talk about Highway 1. People who live along Highway 1, but they don't have a Highway 1 address, like their house is facing the other direction, but they have property along there, are they also being notified of this meeting?
So individual notifications about the meeting aren't being sent. There's a letter from the DOT that is going out to, I believe, just those that have access or front Highway 1.
Because 11 years ago, when 7th Street was torn up, I don't think any of you were involved with this. The city only notified people who had 7th Street addresses and not all the people who had land along there, and there were very few people they had to notify, but it affected a lot of people, and a lot of people who just live like one house up from 7th Street. And so it took a lot of us by surprise that it was all happening because so few people got notified. And so I just wouldn't want a repeat of that. I think a lot of the town is aware that Highway 1, this is going to happen, but I just hope that like all the people who have land along Highway 1 will be let know. Because my water got turned off so many times during that. But technically, I don't have a 7th Street address, but I was affected so many times during that construction.
I think this is where some of the crossover will be. Being a DOT-driven project, we will be subject to what it is they plan to do. That does not mean that the city, once we haven't sent anything out because we don't have a definitive plan yet.
Right.
So come the 17th and we have something that we could send out, that doesn't prevent the city from sending out notifications, because you are correct. Those that have driveway access to Highway 1 are not likely going to be accessing their driveway through this construction process. So it will affect the side streets with parking and things like that. So it won't prevent us from doing something similar. I'm thankful, obviously, that they're coming in August. They're not bidding the project until December. So we're probably a full 8 to 9 months away from them starting construction. So we have time to do that.
Right, and with 7th Street, the 8 months before, they were only talking to those few people on 7th Street. And then when it was like 1 month out, then word finally got to the rest of us.
No, I can assure you the DOT is only going to notify the individuals that it generally affects.
Okay.
And they will worry about us or allow us to do the rest.
Any question there? Comment? I want to mention the 4th thing in my report. Breakfast with the mayor, August 15th at the First Street Breakfast Club, 10 o'clock, I believe. Any council reports, committee reports? City administrator's report.
No, nothing.
Questions of Chris from his party newsletters or his report?
I just want to report that we put on our 2nd annual reading camp at the library last week. They had 23 campers involved and 23 staff, and it was very successful.
Thanks for hosting that, thanks for being involved with that, thanks for continuing that in Mount Vernon. Anything else that needs to come before this council at this time? Otherwise, I will call us adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. I'll leave these in your chair.
You guys, okay, I have this. I'll show you the number.